That's usually how these streams go, honestly.
Well, we did last week was with Mariel Clark, and she was con crunching for FanX, and so me and her
Oh,
were in our onesies, and we're both in goblin mode, and we're just like, yeah, and we're just chatting about cosplaying disabilities.
oh yes, because they're one of the guests, correct?
No, Mariel is cosplay Hall of Fame for FanX,
Oh, got it. Okay, okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
and we're live.
Hello,
Hello,
we are live.
we are live. So welcome to One Anime's podcast, everybody. My guest tonight is Athel Artistry.
Yeah,
Cynthia, yeah, my buddy.
yeah, Cynthia. Hello, everyone. Yeah, yeah.
So, hmm?
No, sorry. I just chat and I affirm, I affirm you.
Like I said, by the seat of our pants, that's how we do this podcast. Um, so I met Cynthia at Dragon Con
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
thought you were just like amazing and incredible. And then I was like, hey, let's be friends. We became friends.
Yes.
Now I'm like, hey, we need judges, and you're like incredible. So
Yes. Was it in Critters that we met or Baldur's Gate? I can't remember which costumes that we met in.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't remember. But yes, we did meet at DragonCon, brought us together. And then we got back together at DragonCon this year. Yeah, so it's been good times.
Yeah, awesome times. We got to meet. I got to meet Dave Jones, and that was an experience of him just manhandling you up to the front.
Yes, I love Dave. I love Dave. He's such a sweetie. But yeah, I just genuinely did not expect him to just manhandle me to the front of the line. But that's just like how he is. He's just so sweet. I think I was able. Basically, the reason he did that was because when last time him and Emma, so Paulson and Mintharo were in Houston. I ended up taking them on a backstage tour of the spacesuit lab, so they were able to see a couple of spacesuits, and that's why Dave, like, he was so grateful. He's actually a big fan of NASA, so that's why I wanted to do it for him. But yeah, so that's why, like, literally, like, he was just like, you don't wait in line. Like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'm Dave's like little buddy now. Yeah.
Well, and he's a tall guy, and he's about the same size as Robert. And at
Yes.
first, I thought Robert was manhandling
I
you.
thought it was Robert too.
I was about to like tear him a new one. I'm like, Robert, what are you? And I was like, oh, it's Dave. Oh, we're
Yeah.
down to the front.
I know. It was very cute. It's very cute. He like jump scared me good. But in a good way, of course.
In a good way. It's always fun.
Yeah.
And then I got to, then I met Tim Downey, and that was
Jim. Yeah.
like that meant a lot because I actually like sat down and asked him. I was like, dude, is Gail autistically coded? And he confirmed that yes, he is.
Oh,
So
that's
I was
really
like,
cute.
and he's like, and I think I might be a little bit as well. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah.
His little special interests and things that, yes.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I see it,
Yeah.
Tim. And I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be at FanX and you're going to be at FanX. So I would like you to see my Percy.
Yeah.
And he was excited to see Percy. And then he,
Oh,
like,
yeah. I can't remember. Yeah, he's been having a crazy schedule because he also had to cancel LA Comic Con. So, yeah.
yeah. So, and for a minute, we thought a lot of the cancellations were due to, stupid stuff that's been happening here in Utah.
Okay.
But yeah, I was a little sad about that, but we still had a good time at FanX.
Good.
So met Sebastian's voice actor. He's a sweetheart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I told him. He asked about my costume. I can't remember if I was in Peter Pan or Astarion. But he asked about my costume, and I was like, yeah. And my first tuxedo was Sebastian, and it's I have to remake that costume so bad.
Yes, I know. I need to pull apart it. I have a tuxedo in my closet I'm currently pulling apart to reuse the pattern for Octus because of season 4. So let's go. More tuxedos. I know.
More tuxedos. So you take apart stuff for patterning. Do you do? I just saw Josh. You know Josh Duarte, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just made a post about you altering commercial patterns. What do you do?
I think a variety. I either do exclusively like just draping on the mannequin. I also do commercial patterns. Like, once again, if I already have the base, like, I don't have to reinvent the wheel, and it's faster for me just to cut out the pattern and then fit it to my size. And then also I will reuse, like, once again, I don't have a commercial pattern, but I have a garment that fits me well and I like, so I'll take that apart, lay it out as a pattern. So there's a multitude of ways to essentially pattern make. There's not. I think people get really caught up in what is proper, like what is proper etiquette and like things like that for sewing. But when you kind of, is the feedback me?
Is the feedback no?
Okay, it started to get a little like loud.
Oh, I switched over to YouTube really quick to see our comments, and I had to quickly turn off the
no,
sound.
That's fine. I'm here to support. But yes, cute. But I think it was just I just wanted to make sure that the feedback wasn't doing anything crazy. But basically, back to my point is that there's a myriad of ways to pattern make, and honestly, as long as you're successful, and it works for you, then that's what's right and that's what's correct. The only time I think it goes into what is correct is when you kind of take it more into the professional sphere, only because you are now making things for other people. So, and then you need to document that. So that's where it's more like, okay, you need to kind of learn how to flat pattern and things like that. But yeah, anyway, but that's a long-winded answer, but I hope it helps somebody.
Well, and we like long-winded answers. Absolutely. I do mostly, so I Frankenstein patterns.
Yeah.
So like I'll put 2 pattern pieces together that I think will work, and then I trace them, and then I use that as my pattern.
I think it's
and then I make a mock-up, and then I use the mock-up pieces as my final pattern piece.
Yeah, exactly, Cece. But I think that's the best way, I think, for to introduce newer sewers as well to pattern making is kind of like, okay, you may not have the pattern, or they may just not make a pattern for the unique shapes that you have, but if you can visualize the shape, then you can definitely tape different pattern pieces together and get what you need. So yeah, Frankenstein, I think I used to Frankenstein a lot. I think I kind of still do. That's, once again, using commercial patterns. They don't make the correct pattern for everything. And sometimes, you have a show that just came out, and naturally, like, nobody's going to have the resources for that. But yeah, I think it's a great resource when people can have that kind of creative eye to essentially think about the shapes, break down the shapes of the garment, things like that. They're all very basic, like garment making. Yeah, exactly. It's really the sewing and techniques. That's where you get a lot of the crazy skill and things like that. But really, the pattern making itself, it's all basic shapes.
Yeah. Well, like with Percy, I know I wanted to do a corseted back for his waistcoat, because that's what I did for no one's gonna see it, but it's a detail that I love, and and I also like my waistcoats to be nice and form fitting. And so I did that with Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I knew I would be taking the coat off once in a while. And so I'm like, well, what's it going to look like if I take my coat off? I want to look nice.
Yes.
So, and I'm like, ooh, I could do that with Percy. And I found this wonderful steampunk pattern, but it didn't have corseting up the back. But there was another steampunk pattern that did. So I'm like, okay. But one had different shoulders than the other. Like the shoulders came over one and not the other. And I was like, wait. I still have Dracula's pattern piece. So I went and grabbed that and used that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. It's perfect. Like I love hearing that. I love hearing how different people utilize patterns uniquely. Absolutely. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. I'm thinking like what other there's pattern making. What do you find is the most difficult part of the maker process for you, whether it's sewing or prop making? Like what do you find that you kind of struggle with the most? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I can tell you straight up is anything abstract.
Okay.
So, like my friend, they are math autistic. I am visual autistic. So they can draft a pattern and things because they don't make patterns in their size. So they have to draft theirs completely from scratch, and they do it mathematically, and all this stuff. And I was like, how are you doing that? But then I do stuff like Frankensteining and things like that. I do visually. So when I have to take something from 2-dimensional to make it 3-dimensional, that's where it's hard. And I have to like sit down and like look at it for a minute and work the cogs in my brain to be like, okay, how am I making 2-dimensional and the 3-dimensional?
Okay.
So that's my struggle is.
Yeah, I've worked with a couple people that have similar struggles where it's like there's just something where they're extremely talented when they have, everything laid out, like the patterns and the shapes and everything, but, trying to translate it from, a drawing or a game model or whatever, trying to translate it into that basic shape is very difficult for them. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how like everyone's brain is very different or tuned into different things. It's really fascinating.
Well, like for example, like I downloaded a pattern for Astarian's blouse because I was just gonna do his camp outfit because I wasn't even gonna wear this to the convention. I made it for the SCA as a joke.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
We were doing a camping event, and I was like, "Oh, what would happen if Astarian just showed up?"
Yeah.
At night, when everybody's drinking and having fun. Like whatever. So I'm doing this. So I downloaded the pattern, and she didn't have the pattern maker didn't have the V do exactly what his does in the game, in his game model. And I was like, no, it has like I am attention to like the smallest detail. And I'm like, it doesn't do the V. How do I do that?
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, how do I cross? And I was like, do I fold it up? And then I realized I could have just done 2 pieces. I realized that like days later. I was like, oh, I could have just done that when I like overcomplicated it and hand stitched it, and did all this stuff to it. But yeah, that's where I struggle, is trying to recreate the smallest details into 3-dimensional.
I got you. Well, you did a really good job on sorry, I just got a ping. You did a really good job on Percy though. Like I think watching you do Pepperbox and stuff like that and all the electronics in that was really cool. So yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun. And that was and that brought in mathematics where I couldn't do it. And then my other friend Nathan, not our boss Nathan, but another friend Nathan. He's like, oh, there's online calculators now. You can use for making electronics, and I was like,
no way.
None.
Like to calculate like the voltage and stuff like that, and resistance. Cool.
Yep. Because I was like, what resistors am I supposed to use for these LEDs? And he's like, well, did your LED tell you what voltage it is? And I was like, no. He's like, you're gonna have to get new ones. I was like, oh, damn it.
Oh shit.
Because my friend bought me a box of LEDs to use for stuff, and but they didn't say the voltage on them, so I'll use them for little things, but I won't use them for like my big stuff anymore. So I ordered a new set, and then he's like, well, yeah, use this calculator, and by the way, what are you using to solder? And I was like, my dad's old soldering iron. He's like, no. He's like, I got one that I'm not even using, and it's brand new in the box. I'm just gonna send it to you. And I was like,
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, he just sent me a soldering iron, and so I saw him at Dragon Con at the aquarium, and he got to see it all up close. And
that's awesome. That is fantastic. I love community like that.
Yeah, No Sleep Till Cosplay.
Oh, of course I do. Nathan and Jennifer.
Yeah, that's who helped me.
Oh, no way. Okay. I was about to ask. I was like, did you mention who helped you? But yeah, no. Nathan, and they are sweethearts of the community. I've had things break or happen, and they'll always bring, or usually, depending on their travel, they'll usually bring like a giant box of tools and repair kits. So you can always like message them and be like, hey, like, can you help? So they're really, once again, like backbones of the community for real. So I do adore that.
They are. And then another friend helped me. He's the one that came up with the double throw, double pull switch.
Oh yeah.
He used to cosplay a lot, but then he ended up in with family. So now he has a family, and so he doesn't have burden anymore. But he's an electrician. He's a journeyman electrician, and I was like, how am I supposed to do this? I have this idea, and he's like, oh, we can do this and this and this and this and this, and I'm like,
that's freaking fantastic. I mean, honestly, just having multiple people that you can pull like skill share from, that's so important, because it's so difficult for one person to like be know everything. Because I've once again I've messaged Nathan and Jennifer about electronic stuff in the past as well. So yeah, that's amazing.
What is one thing you struggled with in making a cosplay?
Oh, me struggling? Let me think. I mean, I will say I do still struggle with like extreme wig styling. It's never been something that I really have been super adept at. But on the flip side, I don't do a lot of anime stuff, so I can kind of get away from doing a lot of crazy wigs and things like that. So like I'm aware of the techniques to build a helmet wig. I'm aware of like wig making techniques. I mean, I've done a bunch of ventilation and stuff like that. But I think it's just wig styling is still not something that really holds my interest. The other thing I'm thinking, I used to be really good at, like, it's more like when I first started, I was really drawn to prop making. And then I kind of wanted to get better at my sewing. So then my focus shifted more to sewing and things like that. So I think it's just, I am really good at focusing on where maybe I want to learn or my weaknesses are. But on the reverse side of that, there are still some things where I'm like, yeah, I could learn it, but do I really want to? Does it bring me joy? Not really. Like, I mean, I think that's also something that people kind of maybe have to reframe their thinking sometimes, where it's like, you really don't, you can absolutely be good at like anything you want to be good at and anything you want to devote your time to. But you really don't have to. If it doesn't bring you joy, then you're not legally obligated to like pursue that one skill or technique. And the community is not going to think less of you for doing that. So that's kind of where I put like my thought. I think it's like because I think when I'm learning a new skill or a new skill share or whatever that may be, I think it's also me trying to realize, but I'm like, this is also going to take up more time than I may not have, etc., etc. So it should be something that I genuinely have a hunger to learn, and not just me trying to put myself through hours of a technique that I just genuinely don't really care for. Like what sparks joy.
Yeah. I just got, I was commissioned this year to do some wigs, and I'm just like, oh, I hate wigs, but I need money. But I need money. So I'm like, okay. So I took the commission, and I still have to make 2 more wigs for this guy. I had to do Sora and Dante. And then I just thought, I was like, wait a minute. I just learned electronics.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, every year I'm going to step up. Like, this is my goal, is I'm going to learn a new skill every year for a cosplay.
That's good.
And my friends have been begging me to do the bunny hutch.
Oh, yes.
At Dragon Con, and they want me to do Sephiroth. Because I used to do, and I was like, okay, I used to just tease the wig to make the bangs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, no, that's not going to work anymore. And then I looked up, I go on Instagram and I watch videos more of how people do the extreme anime wigs, and I'm like, okay, we got this. I think I got it. So you're gonna see a bunny Sephiroth next year.
Heck yeah, I know, bunny. That sounds so fun. I love Sephiroth. I do genuinely like. I haven't played any Final Fantasy games. This is me calling myself out. I haven't played any Final Fantasy games since like. I won't say 12, but it was Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. But that was the last one that I actually played. So I love when I get to see like old school Final Fantasy. And, I'm talking about 7, 10, 12. Those are the ones that I really enjoyed. So when I see those, it gets super excited.
Opinion on those competing using patterns instead of making them. Oh, my opinion is you know what? If you can make your own pattern, more points. But you know what? I'm not going to hold it against you for using a pattern, like if I'm judging. What about you?
Oh, no. I mean, I think it's like, absolutely. It's one of those things, I agree with you, where if you use a pattern and you use it well, I'm not going to deduct points because you didn't make your own pattern. It's the same with shoes. Like, oh my God, I made my own shoes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to dock you because you didn't make your shoes. But, if somebody comes in and they made their own pattern or made their shoes, it's just thinking about the judging aspect. It's more like, not just necessarily being good at, every single technique, but also oftentimes what elevates many best in show is showing ambition to learn. And also on the flip side, it's not just showing ambition and doing a bunch of techniques, but maybe they're not refined, because that can also be a problem. Like you can maybe throw in new skills, but if it's not quite refined, it might not actually give you that leg up that you think. But if you can demonstrate, like we were saying, a willingness to learn, a willingness to do it, the practice to then do it well and present it, that's, I think, what elevates someone to an award or best in show and things like that. It's that, yeah, absolutely. It's that combination of ambition, but also like refinement, So I think discipline. There you go. It's ambition and discipline to refine it. Yeah. So, but yeah, once again, if somebody comes in with, let's just say somebody comes in with a wig that, once again, the character wig doesn't really have to be styled that heavily. Like if I just come in with like a long elf wig and it's not styled, that's fine. I'm not going to dock you because you didn't style a wig. But once again, if somebody comes in with a wig that's really beautifully styled, they're just going to be bumped up a little bit. So yeah, I think that's just the way to think about it. I think the way to think about competition sometimes is, it's not that you did anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, and that's why you maybe didn't get an award. I think it's just more that somebody came in and just did a little bit extra, and that's why. It's not, yeah, that's it. That's the way to think about it.
Yeah. That's like one of the questions we asked during like competition feedback is like, what did you learn making this costume?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like if somebody comes in, like sometimes I've been in the community long enough, sometimes, yes, I will see repeat people. And if somebody comes in and I already know that they're a great seamstress or stitcher, I already know that they're a great stitcher, and they keep coming back with just sewing heavy things, but not really learning new things or learning more, or learning something through a costume, then, I'm going to notice that. I'm going to be like, okay, well, you're really good at what you do, and I won't fault you for that, but you're not really trying to push yourself or like really try to elevate your skills. So, and we want to award people that are willing to elevate skills. It's very important.
Oh yeah, I think it's like the most important thing. Like again, Percy electronics and finishing 3D prints.
Yep.
And then Dracula, I learned beadwork.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. Like, yeah, once again, somebody can walk in with a beautifully stitched, professionally sewn garment, but if that's all you're bringing me to the table and somebody else, I mean, yes, they do have skill sewing. In some respects, sometimes the sewing might not be as good as somebody who's just only doing sewing. But we do admire, once again, people that are bringing a variety of techniques, because that takes much more skill, So I think it's an interesting way to think about it. Just think about, yeah, once again, think about choosing costumes each time where you love the character, but you can also learn something from it. So that's always really important.
Yeah, there was any suggestions for learning electronics. Oh my goodness! Well, like I said, there's the calculators, the online calculators for learning resistors, because you have to have that certain resistance or else you're going to blow your LEDs out.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so definitely YouTube University. I always say,
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh, what do you suggest me to learn this and this? And I'm like, do what I do. I just go to YouTube University. Like, I learned sewing from my mom 20 years ago, but she told me that I've surpassed her because I learned more techniques than she's ever could have even thought of doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely YouTube, Instagram. Like Instagram is where I'm learning wig stuff now because I want to refine my wig skills to do Sephiroth better and do these wigs for my client better. Because I just did Noctis and Prompto for him, and I think I did a pretty good job. He showed up at FanX and he's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "You look great. I did that."
Yeah.
So
yeah. And just like tag teaming on the electronics thing, oftentimes, to be honest, because like Adafruit is such a big name for electronics parts and projects, like project kits and things like that, they have an incredible library of tutorials about certain projects, but they also have great a forum or Discord where you can ask questions. So I love Adafruit, and then YouTube is fantastic for starting, skills and things like that. But maybe if you want a more concrete, like a textbook of some sort. I know that Kamui does have at least 2 or 3 books exclusively on electronics for cosplay. So there's YouTube University, there's Google Fu, practice your Google Fu. But there's also a myriad of established people and companies that also have a library of things that they can help you with. But yeah, electronics. I think you don't have to always. For me in electronics, because I don't do a lot of the crazy calculations, to be honest, as far as resistors and things like that. So you can actually for electronics. You don't have to always know everything about the math to make it work. So if this makes sense, I usually just use COBs now. I mostly use COBs and then the nudes from Adafruit. And as long as I know the voltage that they're pulling, I usually just can rig it up to a cell phone charger, like a cell phone portable charger, like 5 volts. That's really all. Anytime I'm going into a project, I'm usually trying to see how can I accomplish this with, I choose my power source, if that makes sense. Okay, my power source, I need it to be portable, and I kind of don't want to carry around anything that's a 12 volt or whatever, for wings, that people use the linear actuators for. So I usually kind of first determine my power source capabilities, or the size of where I'm going to put it. Let's just say I have only a very small window, so I'm just going to use a coin cell battery, which is 3 volt. So I'll start with that, and then I can determine the lights that I can run off of it. So that's kind of just my mental workaround, if that makes sense, as opposed to choosing the lights first and then doing all the calculations for the battery pull after that. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, just maybe me being lazy, poor man's solution, but it's been working for me for a while.
Well, I think whatever works for you is what you should stick with.
Yeah, I mean, it just works for me because once again, I think it's I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and get burnt out on a skill that's so specific, and I really don't use LEDs that often in costumes. I used it on Harlip and I used it on Mysterio, but it's not something that my costumes heavily rely on. So I feel like I would invest so much mental energy into learning something that really in the long run I'm not getting as much payout, because I really don't use it that often. So but yeah, just something to think about.
So Harlip, is it the infernal writing that's LEDs?
Yeah, so the infernal writing is the LEDs. So once again, that was just another example where I just chose, because I only had a small space. The straps themselves are only 3/4 inch thick. So I went with very tiny COB strands, because the COBs are more compacted, the LEDs are just naturally more compacted in those. So the COB strands I chose, and once again, I specifically searched for 5 volt COBs so that I can just run the wires to just a cell phone battery recharge pack that just sits on my back. But yeah, and then for diffusion, I think my favorite part of electronics is really just figuring out how to diffuse the lights. So I think Harlip, I laser cut the infernal writing in leather, but I didn't want it too thick, so I didn't want to add like another layer for diffusion. So I just used clear silicone inside of the writing. So that's what diffused it. Yeah, so silicone, plastizote, any kind of translucent surface that can help just to diffuse lights is absolutely, I don't know, that's what I find fascinating.
So we're getting asked what helps with motivation. My motivation is you can't do that. That's my motivation.
Oh yeah, like somebody's telling you can't. Yeah,
I'm just like, oh, watch me, and then I learn everything I can because I was looking at with pursues with diplomacy. I was like, I don't want something like from the show. I want, and then I looked at more, art of him and diplomacy and how diplomacy worked. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, no, I can't do it. And, when I said I can't do that, I was just like, oh, no, I can. Watch me.
Yeah.
So that's my motivation.
Absolutely. And I think that's a fun motivation and a good motivation. It's like I said, that kind of like stubborn motivation where it's like, yeah, somebody says that it can't be done. Well, I will be the judge of that if it can or can't be done. Because it's kind of like I don't want anybody else to tell me what is possible. I'm going to tinker and see like, okay, so maybe that specific thing is not possible, but I figured out a way to make it something extremely similar. So I think that's also really cool, just to figure out like not maybe what might not be possible, but what is. So that is a fun kind of the infinite possibilities. I think for me and motivation, I think it's just for me now because I know a lot of people have probably lost some motivation after the pandemic and things like that, because I think it's just people just have a lot bombarding their life at the moment. Motivation is harder and harder to come by as of late, but I think for me it's really just finding good communities, finding really solid people and really solid groups of friends that want to participate in what you enjoy and you feed off of each other. Like I'll be in Discord chats, with people, and it's exclusively for crafting. So we'll just all be on. Sometimes we won't even talk in chat. We'll just sit there and craft, but it's just that community of having the other presence there while you're just crafting and you're both feeding off of each other in the moment. So for me, yeah, it's absolutely just the people. I think people give me motivation more than anything. Because I mean, really, why am I doing what I do? Why am I spending money to do what I do? I'm spending it so that I can make something and go and play with other people. So anyway, that's just my motivation. It's just good people.
I'm totally about that too. Like my friends are my motivation, and I see what other people do, and I'm like, I can do that. Yeah. And then sometimes, and this is gonna be like sounding bad of me.
No.
I'll look at like other pictures or other examples of that cosplay, and I'm like, okay, how can I make that better?
Yeah.
How can I up the ante on this costume? And that's also my main motivator is like, how can I make this absolutely perfect? Because I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
My doctor says I have OCD. And so I'm like, okay, so if this has to be absolutely perfect, how can I make this even more perfect than what this person did?
Yeah.
That sounds horrible to me.
I don't think it's that horrible. I think that kind of sentiment is shared by more people than you would expect, to be fair. I think it's like for me too, sometimes, and it's not necessarily like, once again, that sentiment is not like, it's not like outwardly competitive and negative driven. I think it's just more like proving to yourself that you can make this, but also seeing what other people have done. But then once again, inserting your own insert
Style.
yourself, your own style, seeing where once again, like, I absolutely love what you've done. This is a beautiful design, but I kind of want to see if I can tackle it and make it quote unquote better. That's sentiment is shared all over the place. But I will give an example personally, and like I said, I don't think you sound bad at all. But I think when I was working on Victor, because I did the silicone suit for him, I think that it was that sentiment. It was just me seeing an incredible array of beautifully done pictures, all valid, all of them beautiful. But for me, I was like, no, with my experience and ambition, I could probably actually make the suit, like silicone suit, and make it look like 3D muscles and things like that. And so I think it was just, once again, that was just taking the design that everybody in that kind of pattern that everybody had established of just painting a bodysuit, and then me just knowing that I'm like, I have just with my good fortune, I just have more skills, more time, more experience that I know that I can actually elevate this and infuse even more technique into it. But yeah, so it happens all the time. I do it too.
Yeah. Well, I said that with Dracula. Like, I was like, I worked at a spook alley. I know makeup techniques, and then I was starting to learn fangs, and I started to learn silicone work. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the things and do all the things and make Dracula look like he walked right out of the paintings. Of Castlevania. So I made the ears. I made at the expense of one of my Dave piercings.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I can't take them out, and so we made the mold, and then as we took the mold off, it had
shit, behind the gauge. Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, but we made the ears, made the fangs, and that's why I won. That wonderful trophy up there. I got.
Yeah, that was your first Best in Show, right? Was Dracula, right?
That's my only Best in Show.
Oh, okay. But hey, you got Best in Show with Dracula. So that's, once again, having that kind of ambition and motivation pushed you and elevated you to your Best in Show. And that's honestly,
Well, it's like, I think it was Saturday Night Live. It was that one character that always says, "Look what I can do."
Oh, yeah. Stuart.
That is my best motivation is, look what I can do.
Yeah, look what I can do. Mama, look what I can do.
Look what I can do. So, Percy was definitely a look what I can do, like with diplomacy. It's like, look what I can do.
Yeah, that one absolutely showed, once again, with diplomacy, the gauntlet, and the pepper box. But yeah, no, that one, it shows. Like, once again, it just shows when people are feeling inspired and kind of allowed to just have free within their personal playground. And it's really cool to see what they can do. So yeah, absolutely.
It is. And one Percy came up to me at Dragon Con, and he did Percy from the show, and he's like, "Look, I did diplomacy too." Like, he was so excited to show me. And he did one LED, like from the show, where it was just one light. Yeah. And I was still like excited for him, because I'm like,
absolutely.
Hey, look, we both have diplomacy. None of the other Persians have diplomacy. We got it. So
was it Riley? Sorry, was it Raleigh cosplay? Because I know he
Raleigh is he didn't have diplomacy, but
okay.
I did. So Raleigh's pictures. So here's the funny story about Raleigh. I was going through Percy pictures to get inspiration of how I'm going to make mine, and then I saw Raleigh, and I didn't even know his name. I just saw a picture pop up on my Google image search, and it showed his pepper box.
Yep.
His pepper box holster had engraving in the leather, and I was like, I know how to do leather, but that looks like stamp. That looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I don't have that kind of technology, so I'm just going to do the old school way. And I just hand carved the sun tree on mine.
Yeah. Oh,
But I took that, and then as I posted my pictures, Raleigh liked my stuff.
yeah.
Like, he just comes out of the woodwork and he's liking my Percy, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You're great," and I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Like, once
He is
again,
such a sweetheart. And I got to see, and he's like, "Yeah, I made mine with a stamp." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, but you hand tooled yours." And I was like,
yeah,
"I
yeah,
did. I did."
yeah,
But yours
exactly.
is inspiration.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's pretty amazing. Like, once again, I think it is pretty amazing where, and on the flip side, that's a kind of positive spin on, like you said, that mentality or frame of thought where you were like, oh, it makes me sound like a bad person. Well, I think sometimes you also have to recognize, or the other people in the community also have to have maybe some humility where it's like, hey, like, I actually helped inspire this person. Or, once again, that person that came after, just kind of having that momentary acknowledgement where it's like, hey, like, you inspired me. And then once again, you have those encounters like with Raleigh and stuff like that, where you are feeding off of each other. And, once again, you probably could inspire Raleigh to do something, and then vice versa again, like he'll inspire you. So I think that's only how the community gets better.
recommended places. Oh, I get asked this a lot now. I
Yeah.
got asked this a lot at FanX.
Yeah.
Where do we get fabrics? Where should we get fabrics?
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say it's hard to say, but I feel like it's a myriad of answers. A lot of people will say, like, oh, I am a really resourceful thrifter, and I'll have friends that'll exclusively, they go to thrift stores on the weekends just because it's a fun hobby for them, and they'll find curtains and tablecloths with interesting patterns, and they'll kind of just keep those in their stash. I'm not really much of a thrifter, sadly. I just don't necessarily have the time or find the joy in the treasure hunt. But the sucky thing is that now, especially for smaller towns or like, a lot of people don't have access to Joann's anymore. And, based on certain principles, they don't want to support certain stores. So I actually find that Etsy is my biggest fabric distributor at the moment.
Same.
I go on to Etsy a lot, and I will also find smaller businesses to support on Etsy. There's one woman who I love her. I mean, mostly I love her store, but she's been in business doing like pageants since like the 80s, and she's been running her Etsy store for a long time. It's Miss Nancy. Like, literally, that's her Etsy store. It's just called Miss Nancy, and that's where I get any kind of kind of more elegant gown fabric or things like that. She's got an amazing selection and always reliable. Always sends it, ships it quickly. And it's just lucky because she's in Dallas. I'm in Houston, so I can usually get it within 3 days. But yeah, so I think that's kind of how I reframe it. Like, yes, I will go to some of the big box stuff, like, Michael's now sells fabric. But I still feel like I have a good, in good conscious feeling when I'm supporting smaller businesses right now. So I'll do that through Etsy most of the time. And a lot of times it's like mom and pop little shops and things like that. So anyway,
yeah, I'm the same way, and I love the fact that it's a flex on Etsy. Where you can be like, this came from Italy. This came from the UK. You can show the different parts of your costume.
Exactly. And that's the other thing too. You can go directly to the sources with Etsy. Like, I'll get like all of my metal buckles from Etsy, and it's usually like there's one guy actually in Arizona that does incredible, like for either Ren Fair belts or like more historic belts. But he does a bunch of replica buckles and belt shapes, like the little end caps for belts. But yeah, he's just in Arizona, so yeah, I think it's just I think because I'm not much of a thrifter. I go on Etsy, and that's kind of like my little discovery treasure trove. So yeah.
We got a guy here in Utah that's part of the Cosplay Hall of Fame, Eric Allen Hall, and he is a notorious thrifter. Like his board, he does a full board,
Cool.
everything thrifted.
Amazing. I actually genuinely admire, like I said, I genuinely admire people who thrift. Some
Same.
conventions will give cosplay awards in the contest for like eco-friendly costumes, like most eco-friendly. I know Fan X does that. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like I think they do encourage people that actually go that extra mile and, don't try to be as creative as possible on either the limitations of thrifting or a budget. But what is the Cosplay Hall of Fame that you were mentioning? I don't know if I know about this.
It's a Fan X thing, and it's where people can nominate their favorite cosplayer.
Oh, cute! Okay, that's really cute.
My friend Ashley Gephardt. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's
Ashley Gephardt. Maybe. I don't know.
She did the Pirate King, Emma Swan's Pirate King, and everything.
Oh, okay. I've seen it. That's the thing. I can visualize costumes, but oftentimes I don't always associate it with the person. Okay, I got you.
She asked me. She's like, don't you have to get? And the sun's starting to set right there.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah.
But the she's like, wait, don't you have to get ready and go to the cosplay contest? And I was like, I'm not competing ever again.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're in Cosplay Hall of Fame. Don't you have to be there to present the awards? And I was like, no, I'm not in the Cosplay Hall of Fame. I would like to be, but there was some controversy before that, and
got it.
So and now I'm just waiting my turn, maybe, hopefully, someday.
So it's like a mentorship program similar to like the Senpai program at Anime Expo, like where the I guess the Hall of Famers give the awards. Is that how it works?
Yeah, the Hall of Famers give the awards, and it's just, well, first last year it was CAUS, CAUS, Cosplay Hall of Fame, which I was really hoping I'd get in because that's my favorite part of cosplay is doing the cosplay for a cause.
Yeah,
charity work. But they picked others, which is fine. The people that are part of the Cosplay Hall of Fame are definitely worthy of it, and they are incredible people. Like Mariel Clark, we interviewed last week. She's part of the Hall of Fame, and she does the Evil Queen.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
She's amazing, and she does 50. She's a 501st. She's actually the queen of the Jawas here in Utah.
Cute. Okay, that's really fun.
So she helped me with my Jawa, and so the Cosplay Hall of Fame is something that's really, really awesome, and yeah, someday I'd like to hope to be part of it, but you know, if I am. If I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I hope that you can get it as well. And I believe that you absolutely have the credentials and you deserve it. But yeah, sometimes it's just like, I mean, like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't make your work or worth any less than what it is. So that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Ashley was shocked. But I was like, and it was the same thing I got this year at the SCA event where people were like, don't you have your Award of Arms? And I was like, no. You've been playing for how long? You don't have your Award of Arms yet? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's all good. It's timing. That's all it is. It's just timing.
So, well, we have 5 minutes left. Who was one or more people that have inspired you?
Oh my goodness. So, I mean, shoot. I mean, to be fair, I know this sounds maybe like a cliche answer, but I think in some ways everyone who I meet along my journey, in some small way, if they're excited about a character, if they're just excited about a craft, like they do, it gives me energy and inspires me. It inspires me to keep going. So that's why I do really love collaborating with people when I go to events. But specifically, so in the broad scope, everyone I encounter in some small way inspires me. But on the like kind of narrow scope, I mean, there's incredible creators I've worked with. I mean, Hoku Props inspires me. Like they do incredible work out in California, doing a bunch of like the industry stuff, like the awards for the trophies for Valorant and things like that, similar to what Volman does for a lot of events. Like I love Chad and Sammy. Beverly Down in Creative Studios. Like she's extremely talented and a workhorse. Also super humble. Anytime you meet, like once again, all of these people, I admire people that actually do have an air of humility as well, because once again, they're the ones that are going to create a positive community, and keep it going for the younger generation. So that inspires me. I want to keep that spirit going and once again create a safe space for everyone, create a space where everyone can feel heard and seen. Um, and then let me think. Shoot, there's just so many, and it not always changes. Once again, people come into your life, and for a short time, provide you with that inspiration, and they might, move on for a little bit. But let me think. Shoot, just so many great makers out there. I'm literally blanking at the moment. But like I said, anybody who comes in with passion, humility, and just, I don't know, just makes me excited that they're excited to learn. That's what inspires me.
Yeah, I'd have to say mine is about the same as the
Mm-hmm.
community is
Mm-hmm.
inspiring, and seeing other people create
Yeah.
is also my inspiration. And then that's on the broader spectrum, like
Yeah. The broad spectrum. Yeah.
and then the narrow spectrum, I'd have to
Mhm.
say the Japanese singer Goct inspired me to become a better person
Yeah. Yeah.
and
See.
to carry myself, because I was a kicked puppy in a corner and a
Yeah.
doormat. And then I
Yeah.
saw how this guy carried himself and how much of a
Yeah.
perfectionist he was. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't,
He's pretty
I need
amazing.
to do that. I need to do that.
Yeah.
And then with mental health, my
Mhm.
inspiration is Adam Ant, because
Yes.
he
Adam.
put.
Right.
Yep, I think you saw my cosplay for that.
I did. I did see your cosplay for that. And like once again, like people like Adam Savage as well. That
Yeah,
really,
oh, he's great.
once again, positive influences, just very positive people as far as like once again focusing on makers but also mental health, like that's kind of very important as well. So yeah, like Adam Ant, yes, Gakdo, yes, those are great examples.
Well, we're down. Let's see. What do you do if there's a reliable reference for your cos? If there's not a reliable reference for your cosplay, yeah, get creative.
Yeah, make it up. Because I
That's what I
mean,
did for Percy.
yeah,
Make it up
and
as you go.
sometimes there might not be. Like, let's just use an example of like, a lot of people are cosplaying from books now or podcasts like Magnus Archives. So sometimes I think it's really fun to see how people present their vision for a character as well. Sometimes you just, well, like right now, I mean, I'm sitting here, like I said, we were planning the Critical Role campaign 4 stuff where I'm like, okay, I already know I want to cosplay Octus. Do I have a back shot of this character? Absolutely not. I don't know what the back of his coat looks like. But yeah, so I think it's just it's okay if you don't have everything. Like, once again, if the stars don't align for you, sometimes you just have to make it up, and that's absolutely equally valid. And other people will actually reward you for that, because they're going to be like, oh my god, I love how you interpreted this, or I love like what you imagined for this, and then you get inspired by other people that just had a different vision. And yeah, it's yeah, so I think it's actually super freeing not to have like super detailed reference pictures of everything, if that makes sense. Like, there's a freedom as well.
Yeah, like that's like with Percy, I took from all different images that I could
Yes.
find.
Yeah,
And I was,
Critical Role is perfect for using that example.
oh yeah. So we are good to end now. So
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, but just, I guess, final words. Just,
final thoughts.
yeah, I just hope that, seriously, this is my first time in Utah ever, which I'm very excited about. So I'm very excited just to meet the community there. And also, like I said, please come to the costume contest and do the cosplay events, just because honestly, I would love to meet the community. I would love to see your work. I would love to tell you how cool you are. But yeah, so
We definitely want to see what you bring to the table.
yeah, I will bring, well, as you already know, I will bring backs so that we can have a good time together. Yeah, so I'll probably honestly bring backs Baby Victor. So I think those are gonna be my two.
Oh, please breed Victor.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
bringing Dracula on the 31st. So
Oh, hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh, that sounds great. But yeah, so I'm excited to see everyone, for real. So, all right.
yeah. Well, it was nice talking with you. I will see you in less than 30 days.
I know, crazy. I'll see you guys in less than 30 days. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Kit. Thank you, Wit.
Thank you,
All
Cynthia.
right.
Bye.
Let's see, I'm going to leave.